Okay. How do you feel about world size? Now, I think this is a good question. Should it be larger than Skyrim, the same size as Skyrim, or smaller than Skyrim?
Larger than Skyrim.
You think
I
Frankly,
so?
don't
yes,
know.
I
I
do
feel like
because
Skyrim is just huge
I
enough
don't think it's
already.
that big. I mean, I guess I'm comparing it to like EverQuest again. Sorry, I keep going back to that, but this guy doesn't seem to respond to Sparks very well.
I can't tell that you're hurting it at
No,
all.
not much at all.
Try shooting it with an arrow. See how that goes.
What do you think about this?
I think you just shot Lydia.
No, he hit it.
Okay.
But okay. Well, that's an interesting thought.
I mean, just because I mean it is big. I wouldn't want it smaller for sure. But man, EverQuest was huge, and of course it was an MMO. It's hard to compare an MMO with this kind of game. So, you know, I don't think it should be any smaller for sure. But
Yeah, you know, it's. I think it's bad form for sequels to take a step back,
yeah, right. So it should be forward.
and so yeah, that's why I think it has to be at least the same size.
Yeah.
Of course,
I think it's big enough, but I don't think it needs to be much bigger.
of course, you can't go too much bigger because you're making Bethesda's going to make it for all platforms, and you know the Xbox is kind of limited on what it can do.
Yeah, well, I'm sure by the
Yeah.
the time
Xbox.
I-
It
I'm-
is.
I'm sure by the next time, or by the time the next one comes out, the next generation of consoles will be released. That
Well-
that people are expecting that to happen next year. New consoles.
Now, if you're doing that, that's
So-
all other thing.
But anyway, moving on. Now let me. There's two. The next two questions go together, but I think we're all on the same page here. Should Elder Scrolls 6 include a multiplayer element?
Oh, that's great.
Yes, no,
Multiplayer,
undecided.
That's
Yeah.
definitely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love the aspect of multiplayer on back to Borderlands again. So one thing I love about it is because my wife and I both enjoy these games a lot, and we can sit here and play them together
Yeah.
and move through the entire game together as a group instead of having to wait for the other one to finish so we can play. You know?
Yeah. It's like I heard, Far Cry called, Skyrim with guns. I was like, isn't that already Borderlands? Borderlands is a lot like, Skyrim with the, the role playing and
It's
stuff,
very
but there's
similar.
a lot of first person shooter in that too, but
So, their next question here, though, is what aspect or what kind of multiplayer aspect would you want? Arena mode, which is like PvP. Horde mode, which is PvE, player versus enemy. Cooperative campaign.
cooperative campaign
or
definitely.
trading items with other players.
Cooperative campaign.
If the next Elder Scrolls does not have a co-op campaign, I will be pissed.
I think it needs.
Yeah, it's
I
time
think
for
it
that.
Definitely needs to.
and
But has Bethesda ever done that?
not yet.
In any game, I mean, not just Elder Scrolls games. but
I'm not sure. I don't. I'm not.
the one, my limited knowledge of what Bethesda's done, I don't think they've ever done any kind of co-op of any kind.
Yeah.
So
So, but yeah, I think gaming is going to a co-op thing. Now, this game is great. It's a great single-player game. But how much more fun would it be if you had somebody else running around with you?
I agree.
Well,
Totally
I'd
agree.
be much farther along in the plot. I am much farther along in my game if it was something I could play with you. You
Now,
know?
Let me throw this out here too, because I've seen other games do this. Should there be a separate co-op storyline, separate from the single player?
I think that would
No.
be well. Okay, let's look at again to go back to Borderlands. That was one of the problems that Keelan and I had was the fact that we didn't necessarily want to play our own single player games because some of the quests we just didn't want to have to go through those again for a second or third time. So I think some aspects of
You're
it would be
thinking
kind of
about-
nice to have something special for the co-op.
It's like Portal 2.
Mm-hmm.
Total different game for the
Yep.
for the co-op version of it.
And the missus mentioned Far Cry. Far Cry has a separate campaign for co-op.
Yeah.
2 more questions on this, and then we'll wrap up this episode. Would you like to see Elder Scrolls 6 to allow console users to create and share custom elements?
I think that would be cool.
Yeah, I did like the customization
Yeah.
things. I love that.
You know, it's hard to know exactly how it would work on a console because you're dealing with a disc-based thing.
Well, it
Well,
would
they
work
did it on
similar
every-
to
on-
what they did with the Sims. Sims 3, you can actually make custom content and share it online.
Yeah, I was
so-
thinking of like Little Big Planet. I mean, just
Oh,
think
yeah,
about
this-
that.
yeah, that's very true. Very, very
and
true.
and Mod Nation Racers. I mean, they've really done a good job on adding some user content. It makes the game so infinitely depth. The depth is infinite.
Now, I mean, obviously on
So-
PC, I mean there's mods
Oh,
out
yeah.
the wazoo.
Oh yeah,
Which some of those are amazing.
yeah. They are.
Like I saw one the other day where it was a texture mod that enhanced the people, and it looked like a real person. I mean, it was amazing. But and then the last question on here is a real technical question, like how should Bethesda handle the game engine for the next game? Should they enhance or
Really?
modify the existing game engine, build a new game engine, or license one of the other?
Well, I mean,
game
they're pretty
engines.
much stuck with very similar game engine throughout the entirety of both Fallout and Skyrim. So I think if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I think Skyrim is a much better engine than I think it's the best engine they've come out with so far. I think it should stick with that. I mean, maybe modify the small bugs in it.
Well, I think there's kind of a 2-part thing here. One is like
oh, whoops.
jeez,
Stepped on that platform.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, whoops, right there. See,
There. Yeah.
Huh.
Search the chest
Um,
from the side.
again, it kind of comes down to, you know, I'm going to say there's a 99.9% chance it'll be on the next generation of console. Will that engine work with that console? Or are they going to have to build a new
See,
engine?
who knows?
You know, obviously whatever it is, it'll have to be enhanced in some way, but it can only be for the better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and in another episode, we were talking about the Google console coming out too,
Uh-huh.
and if games are going to want to participate and have the ability to be on the Google console, there's definitely going to have to be some changes in a lot of platforms, I think.
But so that's that was this survey about what people would want to see out of the next Elder Scroll. Was there anything that you think they missed?
Wow, that's pretty in depth, though. I don't know.
Marriage.
There's marriage in Skyrim.
There's marriage in Skyrim, but they didn't discuss the marriage thing on there.
Yeah, and I don't know. The marriage, it just sort of seems like, hey, here's somebody, get married, you get a few little benefits. Once you're married, you can't get married again.
Fable was fun with the marriage thing. You had to
Yeah.
persuade people to like you
Yeah,
that way. You
Fable-
could marry men,
Fable was on
you
the
know.
other end where you could marry whoever you wanted.
and as many
As
times as
many
you
times as you
wanted,
wanted.
as long as you had a ring.
See, that's the thing is, I think with
If you like it, then you better put a ring on it.
I think with Skyrim with the marriage thing, I think that it's too easy to get married
Really?
Yeah.
because you don't have to. All you do is you just look at somebody and say, "Hey, you want to get married?"
Hey, you've completed my random quest that just happens to be the thing that makes me like you. Want to get hitched?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
like
you're wearing a necklace of Mara.
Yeah, with Fable, you had to like persuade that person to like you.
Yeah.
See, and I think that
A
that's
lot.
a little bit what Skyrim needs. You need to be able to woo people.
Woo.
Woo!
Really? That's all that's in there? All that work?
All right. Well, lots of fun.
Woo!
I think we're all ready for a new game. Well, maybe
Yes.
not ready. I
Yeah,
mean,
see,
I don't
it's-
know.
we
I'm
gotta
not,
finish this one first.
yeah, I was gonna say I haven't squeezed the last bit of life out of this completely, but
Now,
I guess I should say we're
When-
all looking forward to the next one.
when he says squeeze the life out, this game he has played, and he played the DLC, and he has to go through and he has to whore the game.
Oh, you have
completely.
DLC? What's that like?
It's great.
It's great. You know, you
wouldn't
should get
know.
an Xbox and find out.
Ah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna wrap up here. And, check back later for more adventures of Mid McBadass on For Nerds Gaming.
Mittens.
With Keelan playing, apparently.
Yeah, it's Keelan playing Mittens.
Meow.
All right, man. I like meow mix. Wait, I like chicken. I like liver. Meow mix, please deliver.
Meow.
Little Austin Powers reference for you there.